Hi there, everyone, and welcome to Screech Bomb Commentaries. This is a little bit of a change from things. This is from a French tournament called the Grande Guerre, which I'm rather being informed by Google Translate means the big war in French. And we have a friend of the show, Slogans, playing Nuarc.
Yep. And we have Slogans playing Gold, the cut version of Tula Forest, a sort of quick cycling, fast Embergen coda deck,
He's top of the screen.
versus Ladislav Blini's Defensor du Bourg, which is playing a sort of mass mutations deck, which has a lot of capture, big heavy Ember control, and sort of big guys with Sanctum Saurian.
Very nice
Some stealing
pronunciation there,
shadows.
Callum. I enjoyed that.
I'm definitely not just making it up as they go along.
So we saw that in the initial turn, we saw a Berinon played down by Nuarc, and we saw it immediately lost in the woods by Slogans.
Yes, and the full moon went as well, which is noticeable.
Yes, that is a big loss early in the game. You hate to see it. We're going to see a Sanctum here. So just looking at the deck lists here. Anything jumping out at you from the deck lists at the moment, Callum?
We're looking at the French language deck. You have double Safe House Bonithing, so that's going to cycle a lot. The Sting is interesting. Double Miasma Bombs, a lot of delaying in shadows. But then the Saurians is, I think, the big section because you've got the Form of Giants, generates Ember, and then you've got like a lot of Ember capture manipulation, right? So CSI with the City State interest, double Consul Primus, double Chant of Hubris.
We are
So
seeing
there's going to be a lot of Ember control on the side.
Yep, see the Monuments to Shrix come down as well, which is a bit more Ember control.
Yeah, it's heavy on the Ember control. It's got a score of 15, which is pretty high.
Yeah, it very much feels like this is the Unstoppable Force meeting the Immovable Object, the Unstoppable Force being Stuart with kind of generating a lot of Ember, and the Immovable Object being Newark in taking away that Ember.
Yes.
I see a Fogify off a Wild Wormhole there. Being able to stop fighting into not really a tight mechanic. You can't see that being fought anyway, but bit of Ember here. Can't complain too much.
It's worth knowing that Slogan's deck is 64 and the French deck is 65. So it's a very like mid-level competition. So we'll see if that makes a difference from some of the high-level stuff we've been commentating to KFPL.
Yeah, and we see Beware the Ides come down. One of my favorite cards. 23 damage. Can kill anything in the game. You love to see it.
Obviously very flavorful as well with the Julius Caesar reference.
Indeed.
So he was stabbed 23 times, supposedly.
He was, supposedly. And we see the Monument to Shrix capture an Ember here. This time off of Nuarc's pool, but if that Shrix dies, then who are we getting out of Slogan's pool? I'm seeing a Regrowth bring back the Titan Mechanic from Stuart. Playing a Snufflegator down. And playing a Mamook as well.
The Niffle Queen to boost the power of those.
Yeah.
Feels like not getting the Untamed setup that you really want.
No, but I feel like losing the full moon early means that you can kind of afford to make these kind of like bittier untamed plays that you might not have made otherwise.
Yeah, you're not saving them up so much.
No.
We'll see if some of Slogans' Ember Control and Brobnar can do some work to bring back into this.
Yeah.
Because this is a reasonable amount, right? You've got double Grenade Snib and a Screech Bomb.
Oh yeah, I mean I think Slogans as well is he's not the ideal opening with losing that full moon so early, but he's still very much in this. We're seeing some nice plays from Nuarc, but the Ember is sitting on those creatures, and there's not a Ludo to remove it. I don't believe.
There is not. More relying on stuff like the Chant of Hubris.
Exactly.
And the Consul Primuses, but none of Consul Primus can get rid of one.
Okay, yeah.
So yeah, I'd be tempted by a Saurian turn here.
Oh yeah, I mean I think maybe put it, and we also seen the Gorm of Arm come down here, so you've got to assume that the Screech Bomb is going to be hit next turn no matter what, just to stop the Gorm of Arm destroying the Screech Bomb in Stuart's deck. Doesn't have any other artifacts, I don't think, so Nuarc is unlikely to hold the Gorm of Arm to destroy anything else. You've seen the Grey Rider come down.
Interesting. Just to fight the Vault Keeper into the Niffle Queen. I suppose no steal in Stuart's deck, so.
And he has a damage on the Grey Rider. would be the reason there that I think it's just been revealed to us.
Ah, nice. And
And
then you
then,
ready and fight some. Okay, that's good.
yep, Umbra Knight.
Reasonable turn. Fight some guys off the board.
Yeah.
I say some guys, some beasts of some description,
Mm.
with that are gendered in a specific way.
Well, the Nipple Queen I think is gendered.
Yeah.
What would assume?
Logan's turn coming down from Slogans, so they're just going to cycle. They're going to store a couple things up in the archives.
Exactly.
With the lab work, they should use the obviously stream favorite Screech Bomb here.
Big fan of the card, yeah. Got to be honest, a little bit of reason why I thought recording this would be so fun. We are seeing the Screech Bomb prominently in place.
It is nice. I'll think I remember to use it.
I'm playing the Dextry, capture 1. And the Titan Mechanic, just to get them onto check. The 6 Ember.
Well, check with 5 for the Titan Mechanic. Trying to sneak one over for a bit cheaper.
Don't use the Screech Bomb. I think that's a slight misplay there.
Yeah, you've got to assume that's going to get gormed in a second.
Indeed. I think it's an interesting thing with Screech Bomb, actually, because a lot of people will wait until someone is on check to use the Screech Bomb, when actually there isn't really much need to. It's not like a steal effect where you're getting benefit from it. You are just destroying their Ember.
Yeah, I always like to keep it for those circumstances, for if you don't have another solution. You don't want to be left in a situation where you can't stop them from forging and you need to. So unless I'm expecting any artifact control, I will leave it on that time for that thing. It just frees you up a bit. You don't have to hold your Ember Answers as much.
That's very true. I suppose as well with Slogan's deck, he does have the interdimensional graft, so having a Screech Bomb out means that a person does need to go either risk going higher if they want to be on check, or accept that they are going to go to 6 or 7, be Screech Bomb down and delayed a turn, if they don't want to risk that graft and having some of their Ember.
So some good options from Nuarc here. You have a Saurian turn that will not quite take Slogans off check, so possibly not that one. Haven't seen much shadows yet, right? So
no, don't believe we have.
Maybe some delays in there, but not without any keys forged. Not a huge amount that's going to go off yet.
No. Clearly some pondering going on by Nuarc here.
Well, Stuart's looking to forge at 5, which is good, but also with the Nova Archaeologist out, that's kind of a threat you want to get rid of, just because obviously you can archive some of the key pieces of your Untamed Burst, perhaps.
Yeah, maybe get that full moon back. And we are going to see the constant parameters remove 1 sit in tricks and place it on the Mamook. And Monument to Shrix is going to place some Ember on the Monument to Shrix. Now, I think the big thing about the Monument to Shrix here is that it really protects you against stuff like Interdimensional Graft, because it means you can forge for less than you normally would, and not have to pay that extra.
But then the problem is, if you are under the graft and you use the stuff in the monument, you have more left at the end, which goes to the other person.
Yeah, but you don't have to use the Ember on the monument. So you could say be on 6, and even if they stole 2 from you somehow, you can still.
So we're going to see a Rob now turn here from Slogans.
Yeah.
Plenty of options that could be expecting. A couple of Ganger Chieftains, some Grenade Snibs could come down to take them off check.
Indeed.
A Lava Ball would be very nicer.
It would. Would you able to destroy that Primus? That Shrix, we see Sound the Horns, gets rid of the Niflate, the Bouncing Death Clock, and gets them a Ganger Chieftain. Or I think you can see Grenade Snip into that Citizen Tricks here, I would assume. And we do.
Yeah, it takes them off check. Or not quite, actually.
No, they are off check. Because the Mamook is increasing their key cost.
I forgot about the Mamook.
And we're also going to see them put a Gang Chief next to Titan Mechanic, put them even further off check, really put them in the rearview mirror.
Building up a reasonable board. And what's interesting is you're looking at a deck on Nuarc's side that does not have a sort of full clear. It's got some Grey Riders, it's got the odd bits of damage, it's got some Grey Riders and some fighty things, but nothing that could fully clear a quite hefty board at this point.
It is, indeed. We're seeing the Safe House and Miasma Bomb come down.
Just looking to delay and delay.
I think is you've got to do against a deck like Slogans where it has the potential to be so fast and so explosive. Is having stuff like Miasma Bomb just to slow the pace down, give you some time to respond, get some responses out. It's really vital to be able to do that.
Yeah, and this is what's sometimes interesting about the sort of mid-level Keyforge like this. Almost any competitive deck that looked like this at the top level would have a key charge in it or a choker.
Mm.
But
Oh,
we don't
exactly.
have that right
No,
off once. So the miasma bombs will play a much bigger role. And so when you're playing in this mid level, lots of cards are just valued differently than they otherwise would be.
exactly. Yeah. We've seen the War Song come down. We're going to see probably a couple of fights here. So fighting the Umbra Knight. Not wanting to fight the
Yeah.
Mace's Asp, probably so because anything fighting into the Mace's Asp will perish, unfortunately. We also see, oh, the War Drummer comes down
Ooh, that's nice.
to
So
be
it
able
can replay
to,
both Gaga Chieftains and fight
indeed.
twice more.
Yeah, so I got to think maybe the War Drummer into the Mace's Asp, or playing the
Yeah, it seems
Grenade
reasonable.
Snip.
Gaga Chieftains, the Grenade Snip.
Mm-hmm.
Cost them 2
And
more Ember.
yep, fights it into the
Gains
Mace's
2
Asp.
another one.
Yep. Nuarc still on check here currently, but I imagine we're going to see the Ungang Chieftain back next to the Titan Mechanic, which we do to knock them off again and kill
This is a nice Coda Brobnar setup.
kill the Mace's Asp, stop the Titan Mechanic, potentially being able to give them cheaper keys. Good play here from Slogans.
Yeah, this is what you kind of like to see from World's Led Brobnar. It's that a good combination of the ability to fight things and also use that to advantage as well, because you're not just fighting, you're generating Ember with the War Song, and you're costing them Ember with the Grenade Snip.
So I think this is like a big thing that Brobnar used to do in, say, Kota and AoA was very good at fighting while also earning you Ember. And I think this is like the
Yeah,
big thing that it missed in Worlds Collide and why a lot of people think it really lost its way is no longer being able to do that as much. And I think that's a real shame.
yeah, you just don't have the tools you need uh, to convert the fighting into a winning strategy.
Mm.
Like you had loot the bodies as well.
Yeah.
It's hugely missing.
Yeah, stuff like War Chest too that you no longer have.
Yeah. They also took out a lot of the
Oof. So we see a shoulder armor with two capture icons there go onto the splinter. That might be the henchest splinter that anyone has ever seen. But he does knock Stuart off check there.
Yeah, also putting on the splinter does imply they do not have other sanctum creatures at hand, which is not great.
No, not ideal.
Um, it's a sort of turn that drags your opponent off check, but whilst putting you in check doesn't hugely seem to advance you towards winning the game.
Yeah, the only other important thing I think is worth noting here, and I kind of hovered over the card briefly while recording this, is we do now have a Shrix in the discard pile, which means Monument Shrix can now be used to take Slogan's Ember with its effect when we come around to some Saurian turns.
Yeah. Storing it safely on an artifact.
Which, with no artifact control in Slogan's deck, is functionally steal one every Saurian turn.
They did have the Grey Rider, and I suppose they shoulder arm with the splinters. They could get that fight on the Dexter.
Get that Ember off it. And discards the free markets. I think maybe worrying about the interdimensional graft here. Only would have hit them. They only would have gone onto 8 Ember, so would have hit them for 2. Maybe not that much to worry about, but I can kind of understand.
It's cards in 8 Ember. I would have taken that risk.
No, it's cards in play, isn't it? So it actually would have been gone up to 9.
I think he'd risk it at this point. I suppose he's got almost nothing left in his deck, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, he's almost certainly got the graft, so that's probably the right call.
Yeah.
You are on check with the monument.
Yeah, free markets always want to forget that is all cards, not just all creatures, but that might just be because I tend to stare at the creatures on the board and ignore the artifacts, which is on me. Except nothing elusive. The Perilous Wild to hit just gets to an Ember, and we see a Niffleape and a Dew Fairy come down. And Vigor, just for the Ember, deciding not to heal that.
Just put some Zelda Shacky in. Gonna get Forge from Nuarc.
Indeed. using just one from that Monument to Shrix. Still has one left.
But it's not looking great for them. They're gonna, I think, struggle to bring this back.
Hmm.
I mean, they
They've
have
got
some delaying tactics, right?
yeah, they got the miasma
They,
bomb if they want to stop him this turn.
yeah. You can look at the Bow-Nithing Safe House combination,
You can.
which is the sort of thing that drags you back late in the game.
Yeah.
We have not yet seen quite a few big Ember answers, such as the City State Interest.
Yeah.
But they are lacking Saurian creatures. It's going to be tricky to pull
Looking
off.
at their hand there. But yes, we do see that the Bring Low, for example, is gone, but they have 2 Bring Lows as well. So that's another big Ember response they have. I think that is the thing with Nuarc's deck. It's just the number of big Ember responses they have is very large.
And it's especially hard for a Mass Mutations deck, given that's traditionally been the weakness.
Very much so. I guess the thing is, though, that it's all capture based, which means that you are somewhat delaying the inevitable. You're not taking away that Ember, you're not destroying that Ember, you're not stealing that Ember. You are just temporarily.
Yeah, and no Ludo, no Scutum from Worlds Collide.
No.
They are thinking through this carefully, though.
They are. I think that's understandable.
I haven't seen the Sting yet either, so that could be a very interesting thing to swing the game around.
It very much could.
Basically, just get keys with a member from Stuart.
Yeah, and I think if you're going to see the Sting, you have to see it like now, because otherwise it's pointless. And if anything, actively harmful to yourself, because you also have to take that Shadow's turn to get rid of it again.
Got Saurian, so no Sting.
Yep. And Library of Polysaurus takes an Ember from the Splinter. And that's the thing, we talk about the capture and we're saying there's not that many ways to get off it, but the more we look at it, actually, the more we realise there are quite a few.
Yeah, it's got some tools to take it off.
You've got the Chant of Hubris, you've got the Library of Polysaurus, you've got the what's the card that removes?
Consul Primus.
Consul Primus, thank you. Yeah, they see the second Chant of Hubris doesn't even have any Ember to move this time. Just going to move it from War Drummer to somewhere else, presumably. Maybe the Niffle-Ape. Who knows? It is the Niffle-Ape. And yep, there we go. As Speak of the Devil, and he shall appear, he plays the Consul Primus. Oh, and of course takes Splinter off of the flank, so destroys it there too.
Bit of a misplay.
Unless they're wanting to leave the Grey Rider's other side open so that they can play something and get an attack with it, is the only thing I can think of.
Maybe.
Not super great there. And yeah, we do see Slogans Forge as the second key, so that Sting now is useless. You probably is going to be discarded by Nuarc. But I'd say Nuarc is in a decent position. You know, you've got that Monument to Shrix ticking up. Slogans has a bit of a board, but it's quite fragmented. Only 3 creatures. A bit more from logos.
I'm still favouring Slogans here. Big board, lots of reaping.
And we see Archives of Twin Bot Mission.
Yeah, unfortunately, reshuffle before the logos turn, so I couldn't use any of the.
Yeah. Limited access to anything too big.
But still, Twin Bot, solid card.
Yeah, very nice card.
It's got some things in the archives. Were I to guess, I think it's the Graft, which we haven't seen.
No. I think it's difficult. It's difficult to see a situation in which the Graft is actually going to be useful at this point with the Ember on Monument.
Graft and a Coward's End, if I'm a gambling man.
Coward's End, another card that I think with the board that you've got.
Oh yeah, it's not gonna. It doesn't need it at this point.
Nuarc taking some time to think about it here. And I think again it's another we still don't see that much shadows from him, but not an ideal time to be playing it with only one Ember in Slogan's pool.
You can maybe start safe housing the bow.
You think so? Actually, yeah, that's a good shout. Might just play a Saurian turn. She does reap, take an Ember off of Stuart. I don't know if he has anything in hand to play, but got hopefully one or two cards maybe. Curse of Vanity, which he can Library of Polysaurus immediately.
Yeah.
So yeah, getting big Ember tilt gets onto
the
check
Ember manipulation is coming through.
with some to spare here.
Yeah, because you can sort of exalt this, take it off the library, and then move an Ember off the Dexter onto the Niffle Ape, probably.
The Niffle Ape. Just to get that Ember off. Yeah, he does.
Yeah. Playing catch up. Just get the Ember.
Yep. And now on technically check with 9 because of that monument. Which means that he's safe from the graft, but also is insulated against any other effects.
Yeah, true. Nothing. And take something off the board to steal as well. So the Bat Drone is not going to play out because he fought into the Niffle Ape.
No. Very, very nice play from Nuarc here, just calling back and discards the Sagittarius Gaze here. I suppose just didn't feel the need to get an extra Ember when he's pretty sure that Stuart has that interdimensional graft.
Yeah.
Now.
Cautious play.
And Logos seems like a likely choice too, with the Archaeologist, with 2 creatures to reap with.
Yeah, so reap twice, play Graft, play Twin Bolt, Archive, something. Denovi, maybe. Perhaps a reap. And this is a super interesting situation. Slogans has obviously got a full board, multiple creatures in multiple houses. It's facing down a fully empty board, but knowing that there's a lot of shadows still to come, that there's a Miasma Bomb on the board, there's another Miasma Bomb coming. There is Safe House Bonithing to steal quite a bit of Ember.
Yeah.
And also knowing there's...
Sorry, you go.
Still Wandering Low, still a 6-8. So knows he has a lot of Ember control to get through.
Yeah, it's one of those. It looks quite dire for Nuarc, but you've got to assume he's actually feeling relatively comfortable. He knows he's got the responses, and he knows they're coming soon with only 7 cards left in the deck. And yeah, Stuart's kind of at the point where he's forced to Twin Bolt his own side just for the Ember, which doesn't feel great. He plays both Twin Bolt emissions. Oh, and hits the Dexter. Oh. Is this for
he's gonna graft.
A graft? And plays the Titan mechanic.
That's nice. Very nice. That's a nice play.
Yeah. So
that's some big brain plays right there.
Indeed.
So he's gonna get 2 Ember from that?
2 Ember, yeah. And to end on 8.
We'll end on 8. Check for 5.
Yeah, so but with the Miasma Bomb, we know Nuarc has got at least a turn. And the thing is, though, if he has the Bonithing, which seems likely, he can play that and get that down. And that's the thing with the 3 on the Monument to Shrix 2. Nuarc's now almost already on check.
Yeah, I'm gonna hit the master plan, put something under there. Bring low, CSI. And they're dragging this back. They're just taking the Ember away from Stuart.
Kicking and screaming. Clawing, reeling this game back in.
And I must say, as someone who consistently loses games to the Baron, facing down a hefty board of Brobnar and Logos creatures, I am a little bit partial towards Nuarc here. I want them to succeed in this elaborate steely plan.
Yeah, this is a situation, that I've been multiple times where I've had control, and then I've just ended up in a situation where the person has just kind of managed to get to like edge their way so that Ember keep knocking me off, and I've just been like, oh,
And Stuart's got
balls.
a problem here because Nuarc is in check for the third key.
He is indeed,
And
even with or without that Titan mechanic as well.
yeah, so
Plays the Dextry and yet knocks him off there with the Dextry next to the Titan mechanic.
but only just.
Only just, indeed.
But it does mean that he's going to be on a hefty check now.
Yeah. He does have the second Bring Low, and that's almost certain to be in his hand with only one card remaining in Nuarc's deck.
Yeah. It might be under the master plan.
It could be. Who knows what is in the mystery box? Well, Nuarc knows, but none of us do.
It's like one of the two players.
Yeah. Damn mysterious, though. Could be anything. Could be a puppy.
Might even be a boat.
Might even be a boat. It's not the Bring Low because he had that in his hand. And that's crushing for Stuart here because I think
that cleansing wave is going to nudge them back to check.
And a second cleansing wave is going to really doesn't quite hard on check.
Second cleansing wave with a damage on it.
Mm-hmm.
A damage and a capture.
Yep, that's a spicy cleansing wave.
Effectively on check with 9 now, and I don't think Stuart's got it.
No, I do not believe so. That is devastating.
A lone Baronon facing down the giants.
Yeah.
And also robots and cyborgs and stuff, and a tiny fairy.
Yeah.
Keyforge lore is confusing.
Yeah, there's a little goblin there.
I try not to think about it too much. Yeah, true.
A long time ago, an army of robots, giants, and fairies fought together.
You say that like that's not exactly what the lore is, pretty much, and about as much sense.
Yeah, true. Yeah, I always forget that like Archon, like the thing is though that I find even funnier is that Archons are supposed to be like, you know, kind of people, which means that there are people called things like
Gold, the cutthroat of Tulla Forest.
Yeah.
Goes looking for the grenade snib.
Yep.
But that's not going to do it.
No.
That's not enough. And also discarded like the lava ball. You might need to make it work.
Yeah, the only thing, if he had the second grenade snib with the Coward's End, that would be, I believe, the only way to get him get off check. But that would be a very fortunate draw. Am I seeing the Reaps? Does he have it? You see the Coward's... Oh, he didn't have the second grenade snib, unfortunately.
Oh, just not enough.
And that, my friends, is Keyforge. Oh, actually, no, it wouldn't have mattered anyway because he does return the Ember from the Dextry.
Yeah.
As well. So
that's it.
You would have also needed to damage a Dextry. It was a hell of a game. Yeah, just thought we'd do something a little bit different here from a different tournament, not the usual kind of COAT or KFPL. And just kind of...
Well, just more mid-level stuff. Your average game of Keyforge between just two more medium decks. Still a lot of cool plays, still a lot of like interesting stuff.
Yeah.
And cards and combos that you see less of. Because you don't see a huge amount of Coda Brub now at the highest levels these days.
No,
but
you don't.
Doing a lot of cool stuff.
No, definitely. As I say, this was a friend of the show, Slogans, and we were kind of chatting, and he said, "Oh, I'm about to play this game in the tournament." And both him and his opponent Nuarc very generously let me record the game just so we could do a bit of commentary over it. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed something a bit different today. I've been David Baron Fabulous Lark.
I've been Callum, the good Dr. Young.
This has been Screechbron Commentaries. Thank you very much for listening.
Bye-bye.